Thank you for purchasing one of our DIY Ranger bead kits. And if you found this video and haven't purchased one yet, head over to rangerbeads.com and we have DIY kits there that you can purchase. In this video, we are going to take one of our kits and assemble it into a finished set of Ranger beads, and we'll walk you through the process. There are a couple tools that are needed, and these make it a little neater at the end. You don't necessarily need them, but they will make it a little bit neater, like I said, at the end. So the product looks a little bit better when you're done, but they are actually not needed. You could assemble this as it is without any of those tools and be fine. So let's set this off to the side and we will get started. So when you purchase your DIY kit, it is going to come pre-packaged with one piece of rope that is pre-cut to the proper length, and then 13 beads inside of here. We have these in a bunch of different color configurations of both the rope and the beads. This is green with black. So what we're gonna do first is open this up. Be careful as you pull the rope out that you don't launch the beads everywhere, because they will try to run away on you. They will roll away and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna set the bag off to the side. We're gonna carefully move our beads off to the side as well. You do wanna count them before you start. You will have 13, make sure you don't lose any. So when we get started here, we are going to have one pre-cut length of Atwood 550 rope. This is all USA made, including the beads as well. We only work with USA materials, trying to provide you with the best quality product that we can. So 550 paracord has these inner strands of nylon, and we only need to keep one of those, and I'll show you why here in a bit. So right now what we're gonna do is gently pull on this, and as we slide our left hand off camera here this way, you'll see this white inner cord starts to release, and that is exactly what you want. So we're going to just slide those out. That's called gutting the paracord, and that is what we want. And when that finally comes out, you are left with the inner strands of paracord. We need to keep one of these, and one of these is going to help us in getting the beads on the rope itself. The rest we can just push off to the side. So with our one strand that we have left, we're gonna set it right there. We're gonna pick it up here in just a minute. We're gonna take our gutted length of paracord and we are going to roughly split it in half. You can adjust this as you need, but we wanna get pretty close to being right in half here. We'll trim off the end to make it neat when we're done, but you don't wanna have this where one end is here and one is out here and you have this really odd offset. So with that said, we have it split in half. Now we're going to take our loop end. This is going to be our working end, and we're going to take that one strand of the inner strand that we kept, and we're going to feed it through the middle, and we're going to tie 2 overhand knots. Now you don't have to be too specific about this, but I would be a little overly cautious and make sure that you have enough length, because we're gonna end up trimming this off, but if it's too short and it pulls out while you're putting the beads on, then it can, it's just a little bit of a pain. So with that said, we have 2 overhand knots and we are now seated and we have this in the middle. Now we're gonna pinch it, and we're gonna pinch it in a couple different directions. The idea here is we wanna make this shaped nice and flat as we can to help the beads slide on easier. Now we're gonna set the gutted paracord on the table, and we're gonna take the other end of our single strand and we're going to start feeding beads on here. So we're gonna feed all 13, and one at a time here. Be careful you don't drop them, because they like to bounce, they like to roll away, they disappear faster than change in a sofa. All right, so keep going. See that one guy right there rolling away? Nope. Had to stop him. All right, we got 4 more here. All right, so this is going to be our 13 beads that we need to complete our Ranger bead unit. Now that we have our 13 beads installed, or ran through here, I should say, they're not quite installed yet, you're gonna take this lead and you're gonna wrap it around your hand. It's a little bit easier if you wear a glove. Sometimes they go in easy, sometimes they go in a little bit more difficult, but essentially what you're gonna do, you're gonna get down here, you're gonna squeeze this guy again, then you're gonna grab just the top bead here, and you're gonna start working that guy as you slowly pull away with your other hand. And if kids, if you need help, just ask your parents. But as you work that through there, eventually, when you get it right, it will slide down and on to the main bead. It's hard to do that on camera. There we go. All right, so once you get that on there, the others typically are a little easier once you get that initial one over. No, these are not wanting to do that. There we go. All right, so once you get those on, keep sliding until you get all 13 on here. The more you get done, the easier it gets on your hand. Like I said, wear gloves if you want. Be careful you don't cut yourself because you are pulling hard and you can cut yourself. So for kids, ask a parent for help. You're probably not going to have the muscle strength to do that on your own. And if you have forgot to gut the cord, you're not going to be able to do this. So, all right, next step here. If you have something like clippers, clip this guy off. Make sure you do not clip into the green paracord at all. If you don't, then you need to make sure you can untie that knot. So we are just going to clip it. We're going to be really careful not to get into the green at all. And then we're just going to pull this little length out. And right there we have our 13 beads on our paracord. So at this point, we want to double check that we haven't offset things too much down here. If you have something like that where you have a couple inches out, you're going to figure out which end you need to pull on in order to adjust the length. So split the beads a little further down here. And then as I pull on this, you'll see one end will start to shorten and one end will start to lengthen. So that was the wrong way. So we're going to pull the other side. And now, as I pull that, you can see that it lines back up how it should. So now we want to create our loop end. And our loop end is what we would put onto a backpack loop, something like that, so that we can hang this and keep it. So we're going to slide the beads down. We don't want to slide them too far. You don't want to risk them popping off the bottom. But you want to give yourself plenty of room on the working end here. Then we're going to very carefully and cleanly tie an overhand knot. And this is where you can be quick if you want, but if you do it clean, it looks a lot better. And we're looking for about 1.5 inches to a 2-inch loop here. And once you get it where you want it, just tighten it down. You can always adjust these. You can move them however you want to make it perfect for you. And then we have our loop here. Now for our kilometer beads, we want to have 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So with those guys slid up, now we need to do our middle knot. So to do that, I'm going to take these 9 remaining beads, slide them further down towards the end, being careful not to slide them all the way off the end. Pull the rope nice and tight, and we're going to once again, very clean, make another overhand knot. And this time we have to feed our loop and the 4 kilometer beads through here. And this knot, you want to end up around 5.5 to 6 inches down. So from the top. So it looks something like that right there. Okay, now we're going to take our remaining beads and we are going to slide them up. So we get all 9 beads there, and then we have our split right there. So we essentially have the loop to attach it to a backpack. We have our 4 kilometer beads, and we have our 9 100-meter beads. And at this point, we need to tie one more knot, which we're going to do down here near the bottom. So you want to give yourself just a few inches, and then we're going to tie that last overhand knot down here, making sure that we tuck everything through. And you want to give yourself room to slide these down and not get them mixed up. So this knot usually lands around 10 to 11 inches down in total length. So it looks something like that. We have a shorter upper section, we have a longer lower section, and we have our beads up top. And at this point, you could be done, or if you want to neaten things up, take a pair of clippers, knife, whatever you got. Be careful, obviously, that you don't cut yourself. And then we're going to clip this off, do it even on both of these. And now to really seal things off so that the paracord does not fray, we're going to take a lighter, we're going to melt the ends. Try not to burn it. It happens a lot that it will catch fire for just a second. But you really just want to melt the ends here as much as you can. And then when it gets really soft and liquidy, quickly grab something like these pliers and then squeeze it together and hold that for a few seconds. And at that point, you have welded the two ends of this together and you are done. So in 10 minutes, that is exactly how to build this. So you have this loop now. You can run this through any kind of backpack strap, chest strap, sternum strap, anything like that. And you have the ability to track yourself up to 5 kilometers at a time. That is how you build Ranger beads. If you're looking for a DIY kit like this, hit up rangerbeads.com, all USA materials. If you want to get a ready-made set, just purchase them from the website as well. We make them right here in the shop. And thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.